Yo, what's good, everybody? What's good? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How you guys doing? How you guys doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I see we got some people in here already. I see we got some people in here already. Today is another day. Okay, I see we got some people in here. Hopefully, we're gonna have a good live today. We tried to schedule this one ahead of time, so hopefully we got as many people. Thank you guys for being a part of this live. Also, say what's good to Marco. Check in with Marco and also check in and let us know where you're coming from on your way in. We got a good live here for you today. We're going to touch on a few things. We're going to touch on some of the things that happened yesterday, a Kawhi Leonard update, and all that good stuff. Also, by the way, real quick, if you guys want to live chat with us for the game tonight, make sure you guys go ahead and sign up to Dreamerspro Max. Marco has pinned that to the top of the comment section there. So you guys can sign up if you guys want to live chat with us tonight. We're going to be in there tonight for sure. So make sure you guys do that, and also check in and let us know where you're coming from. Make sure you hit the like button on your way in so notifications get sent out, and then we will get it going. We pretty much let people know everywhere, man. We let people know on the Instagram. So we got an Instagram. People on Instagram is people. We're starting to get some people on there too. So that's pretty cool. What's good from Chicago? How you doing? How you doing? Hey, Candace, how you doing? From India, how you doing? Welcome in, guys. How you guys doing? Alan, what's good? Let's give it a few minutes today, and then we'll get it started. Texas in the house. So let's just wait a few minutes here. We're gonna get it started. We're gonna have a good one today. Crazy day, crazy night in the NBA yesterday. Crazy night in the NBA. What's good from Croatia, Calgary, Switzerland? How you doing? How you guys doing? Welcome in. Let's give it like a few more minutes. Check in. I see we got New Jersey in the house. From Philippines, welcome in from the Philippines. Welcome in. Also say what's good to Marco. Marco's also here. Say what's good to Marco. Portugal in the house. What's good with Portugal? London, what's good? OG Trez, what it do? Emilio, how you doing? Nate, what it do? St. Lucia, welcome in. Detroit, what's good? Stand up. San Francisco, Jamaica, welcome in. Just check in and make sure you hit the likes on your way in so we get the notifications out before we get started. And then we will get it started. We'll get it started. India, Detroit, what's good? New Jersey, welcome in. Let's just give it a few more minutes here before we get started. Yesterday we went live really quickly with that Kawhi news. I'm going to touch on that news, so trust me, I'm going to get to that. So don't worry about that. Cali in the house. I see we got California, Ohio. I don't know what time it is right now on the West Coast. New York was good. Boston was good. Thanks a lot for 15K, man. Was good from the Bahamas, Virginia. You know, we just been grinding. We've been grinding a lot on this channel, so we got a long way to go, but we're still grinding. Okay, 10 a.m. Okay, you guys should be up. It's Wednesday. I'm sure you guys are working or probably on your way to work or probably at work or whatever it is you do. 1 p.m. here. Okay, Canada was good. Maryland was good. The hometown, Maryland was good. How y'all doing? Jamaica, welcome in. Yeah, let's give it about another minute and we'll get started. Let's give it one more minute. Let's give everybody a chance to get in here. You know, normally we like to wait a little bit, but on those breaking news ones, we just like to get it started quickly. Clippers in 7. Haha. We shall see. We're going to talk about tonight. Minnesota was good. I think I went to Minnesota once, man. I think I went there. What did I go there for? Was it Minnesota? Wisconsin. I went to Wisconsin once. Man, it was crazy out there, that weather, man. It was so hot, like I couldn't even believe it. But anyway, I went there once. How you doing from Texas? Never been. Have I been to Texas? I have been to Texas once, but I think I was passing through. I don't know anywhere in Texas. SoCal. Been to California once. It was nice. Love the weather out there. It was amazing. Milwaukee was good. Somebody said what? Bill Cosby. What did I just see? Bill Cosby said to be released from prison. Is that true? Is that true? Wow, I gotta check on that. What's good from Queens, San Diego? Let's give it 10 more seconds and we'll get it started. Yup. Okay. Wow. That's big news. I'm sure the other outlets are going to cover that. So we'll definitely I'm sure we'll hear about it. I mean I wasn't following the case. Shout out, it was good from Florida. I wasn't following the case. I'm not really we got so much going on in sports that it's really hard to keep up with those other things, but I'm sure I'll follow up with it. Anyway, okay guys, so let me get into this live here. So real quick, shout out to Mercedes and the rest of you coming in, Edgar and all of you guys. Sam, what's good? So real quick, if you guys want to live chat tonight, again, we're going to be on Dreamerspro Max. We're going to be on there. We'll also be talking basketball. There's a lot of discussions happening on the platform. So if you guys want to live chat during the game, make sure you go ahead and sign up to Dreamerspro Max. Marco's pinned that to the top of the comment section. And at the end of this live, we're going to do as we always do. We're going to be giving shout outs to people joining our Instagram, because I see people are pretty active on that platform too. So we're going to be doing that. But anyway, so let's get into the game here. So here we go again. And I feel like this is turning into a broken record. This whole thing with this Clippers thing. I feel like the Clippers have been facing elimination for like the past month, it seems. Like it feels like it's just been one big elimination game, like every single day with this team. It feels like we've always kind of had our backs against the wall. Covering this team has been a roller coaster ride, as you guys know. It's been a real roller coaster ride, even more so than last year. I got to tell you, this year, thinking about the first round series, them going down 0-2, coming back, and then going to Game 7, and then going to the second series, and then Kawhi Leonard getting injured in Game 4, and then them fighting back. Then coming down to this series, going down 3-1, and then going to Phoenix and getting that win. It's just been a roller coaster, right? It's just been a roller coaster. And here we are again. But before I get into that, there's some big news I want to get into in the sports world. And I want to talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo before I get into my analysis here. So you guys heard the news of what happened to Giannis Antetokounmpo yesterday. You saw the injury that he had when he was playing against Atlanta Hawks, and we did a post on the community last night. I put up a post there, just kind of like giving my raw reaction to it, and it's just a shame what happened to Giannis in that game, man. It's a shame because he was one of the best. Like, although I'm not rooting for the Milwaukee Bucks, although I'm not rooting for them, but I think as basketball fans, we want to see the best players out there play. You want to see them competing, right? Because I think the best players playing in these games makes these games more interesting to watch. I think you want to watch Trae Young and Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton and Clint Capella and these guys play against each other. And when we lose the best players, it takes the air out of the room. Like it's quite demoralizing to fans. I feel like and it's been the whole playoffs. If you think of Joel Embiid, you think of Kyrie Irving with his injury, you think of James Harden with his hamstring injury. You go in the Western Conference, Jamal Murray was injured already. Then you think of who did they lose in the Western Conference? Then they lost Kawhi Leonard. Then the Lakers didn't have Anthony Davis. I mean, it's been a very, very strange playoffs. And I feel very, very bad. Mike Conley, I feel very bad for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I feel very bad for the Milwaukee Bucks fans. Like, it's just demoralizing, man. So many teams had a shot, and just when you think you're having problems with your team with the Clippers, then you see another news with the Milwaukee Bucks. So now it looks like the team that's going to win the championship, it looks like it's going to be the team that's probably the most healthy, right? And it's usually been the case like that in the past, but this year more so than ever. Like, I can't remember a time when so many star players got injured, and it's sad to see, man. So, my prayers and thoughts with Giannis Antetokounmpo and Milwaukee Bucks fans, because that was a sad thing to see Giannis go down, man. I think the Bucks were probably going to go to the finals the way they were playing, and then But then Trae Young went out. So it's just, I don't know what to say. I don't think Giannis Antetokounmpo is coming back these playoffs. And it's just really, really sad that some of the best players are gone. Like, it's really, and a lot of people have been kind of speculating, was it because of the Orlando bubble? Well, an injury like that, I don't think it has, I don't know how that ties into the bubble, because that's just a freak accident. He was going up and he came down. That can happen in a summer scrimmage, in a pickup game, something like that can happen. So I just think that I don't know, just been a weird season. And I said I got to touch on that before we get on to this game, because how can we not touch on the Giannis Antetokounmpo injury? So that's just unfortunate to see. But anyway, so back to the game. So in game 5, the Clippers shocked the Suns on the road. Let's just be honest. I think most people going into that game, most analysts, picked the Clippers to lose that game, especially on the road, right? They thought that, listen, the Clippers had, if they were a cat, they were down to their last life, and there was just no way for them to be able to go into Phoenix, especially losing the game that they had just lost at home by 4 points because they couldn't make shots and free throws. I think a lot of people thought that the Clippers were going to be mentally demoralized, and they just wouldn't have what it took to go into Phoenix and go win. Something they hadn't done this series, right? So I think a lot of people felt like that was the end of the road for the Clippers, like they were done. But what did they do? They went into Phoenix, and I think Paul George ended up proving that he's the best player in the series. Now, going into this season, I've always felt like, you guys have been on this channel, you guys know that I always felt like Paul George was the better player between him and Devin Booker. I think people, for whatever reason, felt otherwise, but I never thought that Devin Booker was better than Paul George. I never thought this. I think Paul George had the better resume. I think that I thought Paul George was the better two-way player. I thought both of them were just as talented offensively, but I just thought that Paul George could do more. And this year, the entire NBA community felt the same way, because Paul George was selected to one of the All-NBA teams, and Devin Booker didn't make it to one of those teams. And that's why I was surprised early in the season when I saw the Phoenix Suns playing against the Clippers, and I saw Devin Booker chirping with Paul George. I'm like, why are you chirping with it? Like, since when does people or players that haven't accomplished anything in the playoffs, these guys haven't made multiple defensive teams, all NBA teams, to start talking to dudes that because he had a bad playoff run, all of a sudden you're going to start talking down to him? I thought that was crazy, right? But people were saying, it's par for the course. Paul George is soft, whatever. I said, okay, cool, right? If this is what it's going to be, then it's what it's going to be. So PG walked into that building, and I think he left no doubt in anybody's mind that he's the best player in this series remaining. The guy finished with 41 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists. He ended up shooting 75%, 15 to 25 from the floor, and he made 100% of his free throws. Now, to be fair, Paul George didn't just win that game all on his own. Like, let's not even paint that picture. He got a lot of help from his teammates, which is the thing that's supposed to happen. I thought that was the whole purpose of having teammates. They're supposed to help you. It's not a 1-on-5 game. And his teammates really stepped up. Shout out to DeMarcus Cousins, man. DeMarcus Cousins came off the bench. He didn't even start that game. He came off the bench and gave them a solid 15 points off the bench. Then Marcus Morris Sr., he came out hot in that first quarter. I think he set the tone early. He ended up scoring 22 points that game. Of course, you have Mr. June, Reggie Jackson. He ended up finishing that game with 23 points. And I thought, listen, this guy, he's really proved me wrong here. He's really, really, really proved me wrong. And, Reggie Jackson shut me up, and he's been big all playoffs long, and he's definitely made a lot of money, made himself a lot of money. Let me see what this comment says. You need to make a Twitter account, bro. I am on Twitter. I am on Twitter, man, but I don't have the strength to be texting every Tuesday. I just don't. I don't know. We're on Twitter. We're on Dreamerspro Max. We're on the channel. We're on so many things. Like, we're on Twitter, but we don't have any followers on there really. But it's something we'll definitely look into. I understand that Twitter is a legitimate place to be on, especially talking sports and reacting live for sure, for sure, for sure. I hear what you're saying. Thanks for that comment. So the Clippers had a balanced attack. They had a balanced attack, and it was a hard-fought game on the road. And listen, they played very well. Now, it wasn't just them, because on the other side for the Phoenix Suns, Devin Booker and Chris Paul did show up to an extent. They both combined for 53 points, but it just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. I mean, Paul George basically outscored the Phoenix Suns backcourt by himself. He basically outplayed them by himself, right? He outplayed them by himself. So PG, he was huge. But tonight, I think tonight is going to be a big game. Tonight is going to be a big game, which brings me to the injuries. I want to talk about this real quick. So yesterday, we did a live talking about Kawhi Leonard possibly being a game time decision today. From what it looks like now, they're saying that Kawhi Leonard is going to be out until July 2nd. If I check my calendar, July 2nd is Friday. And Friday is basically, it means that one, the Clippers are probably assuming that this thing is going to go 7, because I don't know why they would say on Friday. I mean, on the 2nd. So Kawhi Leonard is expected to be out until the 2nd. To be quite honest with you, I really don't know what that means, because it's not like as if there's a game that is scheduled on the 2nd. There's no game yet, because we haven't even played this game today. So I don't know what the deal is with Kawhi Leonard anymore. Some people have speculated that, listen, Kawhi Leonard will come back. What did they say? They said Kawhi Leonard will most likely come back if this team makes the finals. To be quite honest with you guys, I have no idea. I don't have no idea. Kawhi Leonard coming back confirmed. I have no idea. I have no idea. And I'm just going to wait and see what happens. Regarding Ivica Zubac, I don't know if Ivica Zubac is going to come back. Remember, he missed the last game because of a knee issue. And today he's supposed to be a game time decision. So I don't know if he's coming back. Remember, Ivica Zubac and Kawhi Leonard had the same status on the injury report, and they were both listed as a game time decision. But now I haven't heard anything about Ivica Zubac. So I don't know if he's going to come back. So it looks like the Clippers probably will be shorthanded again. That's what it looks like. But of course, the game is a bunch of hours away from now, so we don't know. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. Now, going back to the game, listen, I think it's going to be a defensive affair. I think it's going to be a defensive game this time around, and I think it's going to come down to the same thing it's come down to for the past few games in this series. I think it's going to come down to the team that makes shots and limits their mental errors. I think it's that simple. I think at the end of the day, you can play great defense all you want, but you got to make shots. Even if you're playing great defense, you're rebounding the ball, you still have to make shots, and you have to limit turnovers. The Clippers in Game 5, they did a very good job with limiting their turnovers. They only had 9 turnovers for the entire game. That's fantastic. If you look at the Phoenix Suns, the Suns finished that game with 19 turnovers. 19 turnovers in that game. So the Clippers were able to take care of the ball, although Paul George was careless. Now, of the 9 turnovers, I think PG had 6 or 3, if I'm not mistaken. I think Paul George had 3 turnovers. No, he had 3 turnovers by himself. So I think both teams are going to try. They're going to need to limit the mental turnovers that they have. I think the Clippers are most likely going to end up starting this game with a small lineup. I think so. I'm not sure, but that's what I think. I think they're going to start with a small lineup again. I think you're going to see who was in the game the last time. I know Marcus Morris Sr., Paul George, what's his name? Patrick Beverley, I think, started. Reggie Jackson. I'm missing somebody else, but I think they started with a small lineup to start that game. I think the Clippers are going to have to rebound. They're going to have to gang rebound, because DeAndre Ayton, he's very good at these kind of tip rebounds where he just like is playing volleyball with the ball, and he always kind of seems to secure these rebounds. So I think the Clippers are going to have to find a way to rebound the ball tonight by committee, because I don't know if Ivica Zubac is going to play. And I think the Clippers have a very underrated rebounder in Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley finished that game with 5 rebounds, but he got some timely rebounds. And Patrick Beverley is also a good offensive rebounder. So I would keep my eye on him. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Patrick Beverley end up with 5, 6, 7 rebounds in this game because he's actually very good at rebounding the basketball. So that's something else. Now on the Phoenix Suns side, I think Devin Booker will need to score at least 35 points this game to make the Suns competitive. I think he'll need to score at least 35 points. Why? Because I'm not really sure what Cameron Payne is going to give me. I'm not really sure what Crowder is going to. And I got to say this about Crowder. Crowder is the only player. Crowder has one of the best looking jump shots that always misses. If you look at Crowder's release and his shot, you'd be looking at him shoot, you'd be like, man, that looks good. The minute he shoots it, it just clinks off the rim. You're like, it looked like it was going in. Like he shoot. If you look at his form and his follow through, you're like, man, this dude is gonna make the shot. He'll shoot the shot and it always miss. I'm like, huh? Kind of reminds me of Landry Shamet on the Clippers last year. When you look at Landry Shamet before he shoots the ball, he looks amazing. Up until the point it's time for him to make the shot, and he would just be out there clinking. So I think Devin Booker is going to have to score at least 35 points to pick up the slack in case some of his other running mates don't play well. Paul George scored 40, took the pressure off of some other Clippers to not need to go out there and score a lot of points. So I think that's something else that we need to pay attention to. I think Ty Lue, talking about coaching, I've already mentioned this in the past, and I'm going to say it again. I said I'm not going to question Ty Lue ever again. I'm not going to question this guy's coaching ability because I truly believe that this guy knows what the heck he's doing. I think we made a video about a month ago where I said I am not going to second guess the coach again, period, end of story. I'm not going to. I've come to the realization that Ty Lue is a good basketball coach. I think he's the best coach in the NBA when it comes to making adjustments. I think that's evident at this point. I think he's the best coach at making the most of the least amount of talent. If you look at the number of players that are injured on the Clippers, if we're just talking about key players, they're missing about 3 starters. You're missing your best player. You're missing a Vincent Zubac. You're missing Serge Ibaka. And somehow, some way, he's able to go out there, tinker with different lineups, and make his team competitive and just pull out wins and play certain players in different times in the game, and they just come out there and flourish. So I think that's pretty amazing. Guys, make sure you go ahead and hit the likes. Let's try to get the likes to 150 likes so we get more notifications out. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Let's try to get the likes to 150 likes. Appreciate that. So yeah, so I think Ty Lue is suited for this situation. Another reason I say that is because do y'all realize that Ty Lue has the highest winning percentage in NBA history when it comes to elimination games? No coach is better in these type of situations in NBA history than Tyronn Lue. He performs the best. So having his back against the wall is something that Tyronn Lue is perfectly comfortable with. If you look at this guy's career as a coach, he's been a part of some of the most impressive comebacks you'll see. You don't have to go too far than to look at the 2016 NBA Finals with LeBron James and Kyrie Irving and the Lakers. Now, listen, Kyrie Irving and LeBron, when they went on that road game, they both scored, I think, 40-plus points. But you need a coach that believes in his system, that believes in what he's doing, that knows what he's doing. And you need a coach that can lead a group of men and say, listen, we're going to go out there. I know the odds are stacked against us, but we're going to win. And I thought it was very interesting that after the Clippers lost that game at home, game 4 at home, he said, yeah, winning 3 in a row, that shouldn't be too hard. It's no big deal. And I said to myself, look at how nonchalant he is about it. He's like, yeah, we can do it. I'm like, wow, this guy, number one, is very, very confident. And number 2, he seems very, very calm. So that's the type of confidence I think this guy is instilling in his in his players. So I think Ty Lue is the perfect man for the job. If we're looking at people that can handle adversity, I think the Clippers had the right guy for the job. I think if it was Doc Rivers, I think the Clippers. I think if it was Doc Rivers, the Clippers would have lost. They would have been out of the playoffs a long time ago. I think the Clippers probably would not have made it out of round one if their coach was Doc Rivers. To be quite honest with you, I'm not sure Doc Rivers gets this group as far as Ty Lue got this group this far. I just don't see that happening. So I think Ty Lue is best suited for this position. And the Chris Paul is also a factor. I think the Ty Lue factor, Chris Paul, is the inverse of that, because Chris Paul has been in situations where he's had a 3-1 lead, he's had a 2-0 lead, and he's somehow found a way to squander away those leads. So if you look at the Phoenix Suns and you look at the makeup of their team and you look at some of their players, if I'm the Clippers, I'm looking across the court, and especially if I'm the coach, looking at the other coaching staff of Monty Williams and these guys, I'm looking at them, I'm saying, none of these guys have been where I've been. None of them. So I'm not sure they're going to be able to make the right adjustments and really be able to stay in this series with me if we get them into deep water. So I'm not sure that the Phoenix Suns have the mental makeup to really hold on and win this game, because I think a lot of this is as much physical as it is mental at this point. So listen, the number one thing going into this game, I think, and this is just my opinion, I think the number one thing above everything else is going to come down to shot making. I think whoever makes the most shots wins this game. And obviously that sounds very, very elementary, like duh, whoever scores the most points wins the game. Obviously, it's the team that has the most points that ultimately wins. We get that. But the point I'm making is, if you look at game 4, game 4 was there to be taken. And it just looked like the Phoenix Suns were able to make 1 or 2 more plays that allowed them to win that game. If you look at game 5, the thing we kind of miss in all of that is, in the first quarter, Marcus Morris and these guys came out hitting shots. Once you come out and you start scoring, you start hitting shots, you get into a rhythm. It gets your teammates going because they're relaxed. They can kind of feed off of that energy. And then ultimately, Paul George was able to feed off of that. And in that second and third quarter, he basically put up 30 points, right? So I think you're going to need to make shots. It's not just about playing great defense. You got to put the ball in the basket. So I think that's going to be important. I don't think the Clippers need to rely on Paul George to go out there and say, PG, score another 40. I don't think that needs to be the outlook. I don't think PG is that type of player. I don't think Paul George is the type of player that says, you know what, I'm going to get 50 tonight. I don't think he's that type of player. I think if Paul George says something like that to himself, he probably won't get that 50. Truly, he won't. I think Paul George is the type of player that needs to play within a game and kind of get into a flow. I don't think Paul George needs to put any type of mental pressure on himself to say, okay, I need to go out there and get 50. I need to go out there because he's going to end up getting in his head. I think the Clippers need to score by committee. I think Paul George needs to be efficient, no matter if he's going to shoot 20 shots, 15 shots, 17 shots. I think what he needs to look for is to be efficient, but at the same time aggressive, right? So what I mean is, choose the shots that you want to take, but also make sure that when you do take those shots, you're being aggressive. If you're going to go to the basket and you decide you're going to drive to the basket, don't half step. Go with force. Go looking for contact. Go to try to play through the contact, right? If you're going to be out there shooting jump shots, have some convictions in the jump shots that you're going to make. In some games, Paul George is out there shooting. You can tell by his body language, it doesn't look like he feels confident that he's going to make those shots. And in some games like yesterday, day before yesterday, he was out there shooting and you knew, just looking at his body language, those shots were going to go in before it even left his hand. So I just want Paul George to be efficient, but I also want him to be aggressive. Reggie Jackson. I think Reggie Jackson is going to need to make some timely shots. Reggie Jackson, all playoffs long, has made a lot of shots where the Clippers needed to break momentum or continue momentum. Reggie Jackson has been that guy. He always hits these timely runners or three-point shots. I think Reggie Jackson is going to need to do that. I don't think Reggie Jackson needs to bother himself and say, "Oh, I need to go get 30 points." All you need is like 19 to 22 points from Reggie Jackson, and you'll be fine. So I think Reggie Jackson just needs to make timely shots. I think Marcus Morris Sr. needs to go out there and make threes. I've noticed, just like Skip Bayless says, for whatever reason, the Clippers always play well or tend to play well when Marcus Morris Sr. plays well. I don't know what it is. Whenever he's hitting shots, this team seems to play well. Whenever he's not hitting shots, they just don't. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. So I think that he definitely needs to make shots, and I think this team will overall. So here's my prediction, because I don't want to keep you guys for too long. I predict that the Clippers are going to win tonight. I think the Clippers are going to win tonight, and I think they're going to force a game 7. I think that for whatever reason, this team just seems to have some type of I don't know if you want to call it destiny. I don't know if you want to call it they have some type of good luck, but you can't really say it's good luck because they've lost their best. I don't see how losing your best player is good luck. Like, we recently put a poll on the channel asking if the Clippers are better off. Are the Clippers better without Kawhi Leonard? Because I'd heard some rumblings out there of some people feeling like, oh, the Clippers, they look like they're better without Kawhi Leonard. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, right? Like, really? This is what it's come to? The Clippers, they win 1 or 2 games, and all of a sudden, they're better without Kawhi. Are you kidding me? Like when Terrence Mann had that huge game, and I think he scored, 37 points or something like that. Some people were like, oh, yeah. What is it? We don't need Kawhi. We got Terrence Mann. And I said then, and I'm gonna say it now. I said he had a great game. But are you expecting Terrence Mann to score 35 points every night? No. So listen, I think for whatever reason, it just kind of seems meant to be, because this team should have been gone. They should have been eliminated, truthfully, in the second round. They should have lost that game 5 in Utah. They should have. Adrian, Clippers are not better with Kawhi, are not better without Kawhi, but PG tends to play better without him. Yes, I agree. But for whatever, they weren't supposed to be in this series. Like, the Clippers should have been home already. And for the simple fact that these guys are still playing, we're going into July. Think of all of the teams that have been eliminated. Seriously, think of all of the teams that started out these playoffs that have been eliminated, and look at them now. They're still here somehow, some way. So on one hand, I just feel like it's meant to be, right? I feel like that's one of the reasons. Another reason, I think they will make shots tonight. I just don't know why. I just have that feeling. I believe that the Clippers are very confident, and I think that there's no moment that's too big for this team. I don't think the Clippers as a team, as a unit, I don't think they look at scenarios like this where they feel like this moment is like overwhelming. I don't think the Clippers are daunted by are bothered by the bright lights. I don't get that sense. It looks like players like Reggie Jackson and these guys, it looks like they cherish these moments. It's actually kind of weird. Like, it looks like these guys, like Skip Bayless says, they have to do it the hard way. For whatever reason, it looks like that's how it has to be with this team. I think that's something else that's a factor that's playing that's going to play into this game. And I think they're going to win this game. I think they're going to win this game, and they're going to tie this thing up at 3-3. I think when they do that, I think the Phoenix Suns are probably going to start having some serious mental doubts. I think if they win tonight, I think the Phoenix Suns are going to be psychologically disturbed, because they're going to say to themselves, wait a minute, how did we end up in this situation? I think their leader, Chris Paul, is going to start hearing footsteps, and he's going to start having some flashbacks to some moments he had in the past in his playoff career. You heard him say it after that win they got in LA. He's like, I don't want to get too excited. I've been up 3-1 before, which means that this is something that Chris Paul has thought about. it means that this is something Chris Paul has thought about. And I think if they get this win tonight, it's going to be a toss-up. And I think the Clippers are crazy enough and good enough to win a game 7. It's just like, I wouldn't be surprised if Reggie Jackson goes out there and has a big night with Terrence Mann and Marcus Morris Sr. and probably Paul George shoots like 5 of 16 from the floor. Something like that can happen and they can end up winning that game. Paul George end up with like 19 rebounds or something crazy like that could happen. So I think they're going to win tonight, and I think they're going to even up this series, and I think it's going to work wonders for Paul George's legacy. I think people are now beginning to understand that, listen, Paul George is just 1 second. Do you think that the pressure on the Clippers, do you think that that's pressure on the Clippers Kawhi back Friday, meaning they must win today, which sucks if they lose? Mark, to be quite honest with you, I don't even know if Kawhi Leonard is coming back on Friday because they just said he's out for until July 2nd, but it's not definitive. Now, would Kawhi possibly come back for game 7, like the way and give it one final shot to see if he can keep a season alive, maybe the way Mike Conley did? Possibly. But to be quite honest with you, Mark, I don't know. Truly, I don't know. I don't know. Tori, it's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. Yep, it seems to be true, man. It seems to be true. Yeah, but about the Kawhi thing, I really don't know. I really, I don't know. I just think that looking at today's game, I think they're most likely going to win tonight's game. And then I think if they win tonight's game, given the circumstances, I think these playoffs are working wonders for Paul George. Because, listen, although he's had some disappointing games where he missed some free throws and all of this, but let's just be honest. The Clippers don't make it to this point without PG. Like, it's just the reality. And one can make an argument that Paul George is doing more with less than some of the players, the team he's facing. He's playing against the Phoenix Suns team that's pretty much at full strength, playing against Chris Paul, playing against Devin Booker and these guys. And somehow his team is still competitive. I think Paul George's legacy, I think this run has worked wonders for him because I think people now finally understand that Paul George, like, no one confused PG with being Kevin Durant. No one thought he was Kawhi Leonard. No one thought he was LeBron James. Hell, no one thought he was Stephen Curry. Nobody thought he was these caliber players. And I think those 4 guys are in a tier of their own. I think they're in a class by themselves. Stephen Curry, Kawhi Leonard, what's his name? Stephen Curry, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant. I think these guys are a class by themselves. I think those guys, if you give them enough help, they can get you far in the playoffs. I'm talking about those guys. I think Paul George is in the category of James Harden, Anthony Davis, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid. I think he's in that group of players. Damian Lillard. I think he's in that group. I think those other 4 guys are the elite of the elite of the elite. And I think of those 4, I think the best is Kawhi. That's just my opinion because I think he's the best of them all. But that's that class. Paul George is not in that classroom. And I think a lot of people kind of had it confused. Like, well, PG, PG is this. And I'm like, do you have the right expectation? If you're expecting Paul George to be as good as KD, you're going to be disappointed every single time. If you're expecting him to be as good as LeBron James, you're going to be disappointed every single time. But if you're expecting Paul George to be better than James Harden, for example, listen, if you ask me, who would I rather have in the playoffs, Paul George or James Harden? Give me Paul George. Give me Paul George. I think at the end of this playoff run, I think PG, if we're doing like an all-time ranking, and if we're looking at overall performance, career versus playoff, I think PG should be ranked higher than James Harden, to be quite honest with you. I think Paul George should be ranked higher than James Harden. So, I'm sorry. James Harden is he's an amazing offensive player in the regular season. But in the playoffs, it's just not the case. And I don't get the sense, just could be me, I don't get the sense that James Harden cares as much about basketball as these other guys do. CP3 is a false prophet. That's why he couldn't answer 3-1, the 3-1 up question. He knows the drill. He's about to get smoked. Nuck if you buck, boy. Thanks a lot. What the hell? Yeah. What? What? Winning like 90. Okay. It's because I believe in the platform. Keep doing your thing, Charles and Marco. Get a phone line established. That'd be fun. Wishing y'all many blessings and pride. No, thank you so much for that. Yo, winning like 96, you just blew my mind, man. You saw the comment section went kind of silent for a second. I think some people like, yo, what just happened? Yo, look at the comment section. Just like, if just pause for like a second, like, yo, what? Thanks so much for that, man. Wow. Okay, you just shocked me with that. Wow, thanks. Yo, people are laughing. Yo, they laughing. They were like, what? Did I just see? What? Yeah, he's like, yeah, look at him. Don't worry, man. It wasn't just you, man. It wasn't just you. I was surprised too, man. I was surprised too. Thanks a lot. Winning like 96, you out here stunting on everybody, man. Good Lord. PG doesn't need to be better than KD. He just has to be better than Devin Booker. Yes, I agree. Yeah. Look at the comment section. Yo, man, you just left. People are still trying to recover from that last post. Okay, thanks. Yo, look at the comment section. People are still trying to recover, man. Oh my God, winning like 96, man. You just like threw the live off. You just anyway. What was I saying? I was talking about yo, y'all are laughing at me. I just lost my train of thought. Hold on, what was I talking about? I was talking about James Harden. I was talking about what was I talking? Who was I talking about? I was talking about James Harden, right? Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was talking, yo, y'all are funny. Let me see. Winning like 96 should change her name to Winning like 90. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Anyway, man. Let me get back to what I was saying. Y'all trying to throw me off, man. Let me get back to what I'm saying. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, well, back to James Harden, man. Back to James Harden. I just get the sense that James Harden. I just get the sense that James Harden just doesn't. I just think that he doesn't care as much as some other players do. You look at Paul George. James Harden and Paul George, they're both rich. These guys have made at least $200 million each. And you see Paul George, even after he scored 41 points in the press conference, you see PG, he like, yeah, you know, he seems like he's going through the emotions of these playoffs and these games. You look at James Harden be like, yo, when are they finished with these questions so I can get up out of here, so I can go down and go meet up with the baby and them, or not the baby. What's the dude he be hanging out with? What's the skinny dude? The skinny dude with the braids. I forgot his name. The skinny. Is it Little Baby? Nah, is it Little Baby? I think it's Little Baby, right? I think it's Little Baby. That's I don't get the sense that James Harden cares as much. So it's winning like 96. You just messed up the whole live. I'm trying to talk about the game. People are still talking about what just happened. Little baby. I just feel like James Harden doesn't. I just feel like he doesn't care as much. And I think PG does. So I think whatever happens these playoffs, I think it definitely is going to enhance his legacy. The guy did his best. He did his best. He's not Kevin Durant. He's not Kawhi Leonard. So in my opinion, I think Paul George is going to work wonders for himself this year. So anyway, guys, I think the Clippers are winning tonight. Again, if you guys want to live chat with us, make sure you sign up to Dreamerspro Max. Some of the people you see on here are on Dreamerspro Max. like Candace and everybody else, Deuce, Don, and the rest of you guys. I see you there. Oh, real quick, and also follow us. Let me do a quick shout out on Instagram. I know a lot of you guys have been contacting us on Instagram. We try to read as many messages. So Marco's going to post the Instagram link. Marco's going to post the Instagram link in the comment section, and then I'm gonna give you guys a shout out while we're on here to what is it to okay, there it goes. So if you guys sign up, and not sign up, if you follow us on IG, I'm gonna just give you guys a real quick shout out. Marco just pinned it there. So I'll give you guys shout outs because I see some people definitely messaging us on IG, and we just never paid attention to it. And we'll definitely look at a way to get for me to get on Twitter, because I really don't use it. I really don't use it that much. Good effing juice. Thank you for following us. Appreciate that. I see you. Good effing juice. As y'all come in, I'm definitely going to give you guys a shout out on here. One of one, Jacob 24. Thank you for following us. I see you. What's good? One of one. I think they're coming in now little by little. So I just want to give a shout out while people are joining up. So we give that a few. We give that a few minutes. So we just make sure you guys follow us on IG, because we're definitely going to start posting on there a little bit. Yeah, we're going to go live tonight, Candace. We're going to go live. Lyndon, thanks for following us on there. I see you. Thank you for following it. Yeah, we're going to be live tonight, live chatting. To sign up on the Discord, you got to join Dreamerspro Max. Marco is pinned to the top. So if you want to be a part of that, just sign up to Dreamerspro Max. That's where we live chat during these games. We've been doing it all playoffs long, so we've been having a lot of fun. We've been having a lot of fun on there. DeMarcus Cousins, yeah, DeMarcus Cousins, he's been doing his thing, man. He's been doing his thing. I think he's probably going to get some good minutes tonight, and I think he's going to play well for the team. So, Recap TV, I appreciate that. Rev Kev, thank you for following us. I appreciate that. Addie, thank you for that. We appreciate that. I see you guys are coming in on there. I just want to wait a few more seconds. Let me just shout out some people while they follow us on IG, so we give them a shout out, because I know some of you guys are on Instagram. So I think I'll wait. I've given a shout out to everybody. So once again, man, thank you guys for all of that. Appreciate you guys for being a part of this live. We definitely had a lot of fun. And don't forget to sign up to who is this? Stephen Kuo. Appreciate that, Stephen. Thank you for following us. And we'll definitely catch you guys tomorrow. And hopefully this thing will still be rolling tomorrow, man. Anyway, appreciate that. And okay, Candace, no problem. We'll catch you on there later. No problem. So catch you guys later. Once again, thank you guys for being a part of this live. And we'll see you guys on the next live, and win it like 99. You just stunned it on the whole live, man. Catch y'all later. Peace.